Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your business, your personal, everything can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I'm really glad that Josh did not pick this one today because today's National Jumbo Day. Yeah, I know I've been referred to as being a little bit on the jumbo size many times, but we're not going to go there, are we? Let's see, what else have we got? National Chinese Almond Cookie Day. I wonder if there's going to be a tariff on that one. Yeah. Couldn't resist it, Josh. I know it's corny. That's like one of those old dad jokes. Is that what they call it? About as corny as they get. Chinese Cookie Day, Chicken Little Awareness Day. What else do we have? Oh, wait a second. Josh, you didn't do this one. National Gin and Tonic Day. I don't like gin and tonic anyway, so I guess that makes sense for me not to be talking about gin and tonic. But my friend Aaron, he's a gin guy, so okay, maybe we'll have to throw that. Might have to throw that off to him today. With the way the markets are going, he might be doing gin and tonic already. Today's also National Unicorn Day. Way too many places to go with that one. Let's see. Let's move right along. Well, let's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Hold your breath because now it's only down 32 points. It was up, it was down. It's been all over the place today. It's down 33 right now. The S&P 500 is up 2.6. NASDAQ is up 111 right now and climbing. Oil's down $2.26 a barrel, $57.31 a barrel. That's going to be an interesting number because that's like, other than California, that's a tax break for everybody. We don't like to pass along those savings. Is it going to show in our CPI numbers tomorrow? No, too soon to tell. But probably by next month's CPI numbers, we'll probably see some of the benefits of oil being in the high 50s per barrel. Not sure that's good for our economy. Get oil prices too cheap. No one wants to produce anymore. But right now at $57 a barrel, it might be a good time to think about it. Not saying, not giving any recommendations, but I will say that we could use some lower gas prices to go along with everything else that's going on in the market. I did notice a headline come across my feed this morning as I was driving into the studio. Amazon cutting out some orders in China. Yeah, they're cutting some off. We're at 444 or 445 on the 10-year Treasury. We'll see where that goes and what that's going to mean for the markets. It's not as it gets up there. The restructuring of our debt is the big issue. And we're going to talk about a lot of that when we come back. We're still talking, the talk of the town is tariffs. And the speculation all over is fascinating. And the people that believe what they want to believe. So I got into a little bit of a conversation early this morning. And the person I was chatting with says, well, China's dumping U.S. treasuries. Really? Now, let's think about that logic. They also said that there is economic agreement, tariff agreements, coming between Canada and China and the European Union and China. Now, I'm going to share with you what I did, and I hope that you'll consider doing the exact same thing. When he told me that there were these issues going on, and I watch a lot of news services. I pay for some, I watch cable, I spend way too much time on the news. Even my grandson comes in, came over yesterday and said, you know something, Grandpa, why are you watching that? And, it's what I do. So what did I do when I heard that that Canada and the European Union have made up trade deals with China? Well, because of the systems that we have, thanks to Josh, I was able to go right into Gemini because it's part of our package. Gemini is the AI feature that goes along with Google. Anybody know what the biggest search engine in the world is? Yes, it's Google. I think number 2 is YouTube, but I digress. So I went into Gemini and I just simply put, have there been any recent trade agreements between China and Canada? Pops up within seconds. No, and to the contrary. Canada added tariffs to China in November, and in March, China reciprocated, adding more tariffs onto Canada. So not only are they not coming to agreements, they're getting in more of a battle with one another. And it was similar commentary with the European Union. So before you just start believing what you hear, and we're going to give you as accurate an information as we possibly can, but we can make mistakes. We are human, and we have no budget. So the bottom line there is do some research before you believe what you're being told. It's not that hard. It took me a matter of 30 seconds to go and find out that the information that was being shared might not have a foundation of legitimacy. So just thoughts for you. I want you to get in where it really makes sense for you, where you can really benefit from some of the information that's coming across. And now with our AI, we can really check things way quicker than we've ever been able to in the past. What else is going on in the world? Is there anything else going on in the world other than trade talks? Well, being that I was not in the studio yesterday, I had a speaking engagement. I didn't get to even congratulate Josh on his alma mater. Yeah, he was was a Gator or is a Gator? Is it like the Marines? Once a Gator, always a Gator? And I heard, is it true that Florida rivals UC San Diego or San Diego State in the amount of parties they have? Just curious. Well, so maybe do they have more than 7 days a week to party over in Florida? They might. And I would imagine there's still some folks that are hungover after that national championship on Monday night. If you watched it, I found it to be a great game. I enjoyed the game. It was not a blowout. I thought Houston was going to be able to hold on to that 14-point lead. I had no horse in the race. For Josh's benefit, I was rooting for Florida. Once USC is out, it's just a game to me. It's not a big deal. But if I was over there, if I was if my team was playing, yeah, that would be kind of stop that. That would be the thought right there, is having a good time. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, what does all this financial turmoil mean to you? Worried about your investments? What smart advisors want you to know? Does your current home fit your retirement plans? The truth about newly built homes and today's market, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. 1990, the Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to find out what your monthly principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, we'll give it to you for free. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. rsrlinks.com/mobile app. You can tell what you put in the calculator for your principal and interest payment. And we're looking at yesterday's locked rates, again, according to OBMMI. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.707. That was up. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.855. FHA 30-year fix, 6.408. VA 30-year fix, 6.192. And the USDA 30-year fixed, 6.438. Every one of them, it was a clean sweep. They were all up yesterday. If you want our market thoughts each and every business day morning, as early as the data allows, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. Let's see what the markets are doing today. Let's see what rates are doing today. Well, the Dow Jones, if you remember in the last segment, I was talking to you, and the Dow was just up a little bit. Something's going on because we've got that massive volatility going still. And we're looking right now, the Dow is up 191 points. And I think I said this before. Yeah, the S&P 500 is up 36. The NASDAQ's up 231 right now. I don't usually give you all of those, but I thought today, it might make sense just because it is so volatile. We are also looking, as we always do, we're looking at 10-year Treasury is up 18 basis points, 4.44. The mortgage-backed security, unfortunately, I've got bad news for you. That one's down 64 basis points. When the bond goes down, the yield goes up. That means interest rates, mortgage rates are up this morning. And the question is why? Well, it's all pretty simple. It all has to do with volatility as the trade war escalates. After the U.S. increased tariffs on China to 104%, that's cumulative. China responded by increasing their tariffs on U.S. goods from 34 to 84%. Additionally, the European Union approved a vote to place tariffs up to 25% on various items. The uncertainty in the market appears to have investors feeling like they want to sit on the sidelines until this is all over. It's rare to see stocks, bonds, and the dollar down all at the same time. Often money goes from stocks into safe haven to the bond market, but this is not happening right now. There are some that believe China, who is the biggest holder of our treasuries, is selling them, which is causing yields to move higher. Possible, not likely in my opinion, because a lot of the treasuries they hold were purchased at much lower rates. So they'd have to incur huge losses. Additionally, where else would they put their money? Other countries like Germany could be an option, but their market is much smaller than ours and would not be enough. In the past, China has purchased our treasuries in order to peg their currency to the dollar. As they invest in treasuries and repatriate their currency into ours, it strengthens the dollar comparatively. If they were selling our treasuries, we would likely see the dollar strengthen, not weaken. The market uncertainty is causing many to believe that a recession is a real probability now. On that note, Lacey Hunt yesterday explaining how he feels U.S. is already in a recession. It just has not been declared by the NBER. He thinks the Fed should already be cutting and needs to help the market because of liquidity issues. Now, Lacey Hunt, brilliant, usually correct. Minneapolis Fed president, usually wrong. Neil Kashkari spoke on CNBC this morning and said that he does not see liquidity issues and that the Fed is still in wait and see mode. He thinks the hurdle to cutting rates has increased due to tariffs and explained that it's too risky to look past the inflation effects of the tariffs. Figures Kashkari just doesn't get it. Stocks started the day sharply lower, have since turned positive. Mortgage bonds are lower, but off their worst levels. Now they're back down there again. 10-year yields have moved up. It's crazy. Oil prices moved down, which we already talked about. This will not show up in the pump yet, but it will eventually, other than California, because we like to keep our gas prices high. Around 1 o'clock Eastern time, is that 10 o'clock our time in California, we're going to see a 10-year treasury auction. It's not going to be very good because people still think there's a lot of volatility in there. I don't think it's going to be a good report. 2 o'clock Eastern time, that's 11 o'clock our time. We're going to get the Fed minutes from March 19th meeting. This is old news from 3 weeks ago, especially with the changes we've seen in our economy over the last few weeks. The decision about the tariff issue is going to override all of that. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Why is it that the market is so infatuated with tariffs? And, I just don't see it. Well, it's issues that I'm already starting to see happening. It's things I've talked about before. Amazon came out and said they're cutting orders from China. Now, I will share with you that in my prior life, there was a product that we sold a lot of to dollar stores. You may have even seen them there. It was a 6-pack of steak knives. It was a wood handle steak knife. It was metal, obviously a metal knife. And we sold them to dollar stores. China was dumping them like crazy on the U.S. market. There's no way that they could possibly be making them for the price they were selling them to us in the U.S. I think we were paying something like 40 cents for a 6-pack, and that was after shipping them from China putting them on a truck in China, putting them on a boat to the U.S., a truck from the harbor to our warehouse, and we're selling them for like 60 cents a package. Sold hundreds of thousands of them. The U.S. government said they're dumping them. It's unfair competition. They put a massive tariff on it and overnight killed that steak knife market. But oh, wait, did it really kill the steak knife market? I'm going to share with you that no, it didn't. We started overnight. Now, the product that we already had shipped, we had to pay. We'd already paid for it, so we had to pay that tariff on it. Every other order that we had placed, we canceled in China because we moved the supply and started buying them in Brazil. Brazil had a favored status with the US, so it cost us less money. Now, why do I say all that? Because it did happen 25, 30 years ago. Why do I say all that? Because the supply chain moves. Apple has already said they're starting to source more product in India and Vietnam and cutting some of their orders in China. They're building factories. It'll take some time here in the US. Whoa, wait a second. They're building factories in the US. They're going to use US labor? Again, I say not so. What's going to happen there is something that Elon Musk has been talking about, and Tesla is a big supplier of robots. They'll need people to run the robots, but think about this. I went to a restaurant. Frequently I go to restaurants, but I went to a restaurant in the Tustin marketplace. I don't know, Josh, maybe you've seen something like this. So I go to this Chinese restaurant. It's just like a kind of a walk up. You walk up to the counter. Oh, wait. They didn't have anybody working the counter. They had kiosks. So you put your order into the kiosk and it says, your order is number 27, and take your ticket or take this little device and put it on the corner of your table. Oh, okay, no big deal. And I sat there, you paid for it the whole bit through the kiosk, never had an interaction with a human being. And then all of a sudden, this little robot comes to my table with my food. Still no interaction with a human being. It did get me a little miffed when the robot, the kiosks ask for a tip, and I've got a robot bringing my food. Who am I tipping and for what? I don't, that's me. I just don't do that. But the bottom line was it's robotic. Now, there was a cook in the back, I think, making the food. They put it on the robot. The robot brings it to me and says, here's your food. Take it off the tray. I took it off the tray. I ate it. I left. So now there was somebody running that robot somewhere, but Musk says robots are going to take over a lot of the manufacturing. And oh, by the way, Tesla makes robots. So those people that think that they're spiting Tesla right now, Tesla's, could be. I don't give stock predictions, but I would say that, whether you like the car or not, whether you like the politics or not, if you like money, you might be wanting to say, I think I want to buy some Tesla stock. Oh, wait a second. I'm just looking. Tesla's up 5.25% today. It's up $11 a share. So maybe it's too late to buy it. I don't know. But I would say, keep your eyes open. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets when we come back. Worried about your investments, what smart advisors want you to know. Does your current home fit your retirement needs and more? Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Does your current home fit your retirement plans? That is the subject today. Retirement isn't just a milestone. It's the beginning of something really special. After years of hard work, it's finally time to slow down, explore new passions, and live life on your own terms. But with this exciting chapter comes some big choices. And one of the biggest is this, that your current home still makes sense for the lifestyle and budget you want in the next phase of life. That's an especially important question right now. Just in the past 5 years, the cost of living has jumped by 23%, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS. That's based on the Consumer Price Index, CPI, which is how changes are tracked in the average price consumers pay for goods and services. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart of the cost of living has increased by 23% in 5 years. When you're thinking about how to make your retirement savings last, those rising expenses matter. And if you've started to wonder whether your money will stretch as far as you need it to go, don't worry. You may have some more control than you think. One way many retirees are protecting their savings is by relocating, because your dollars do go further in some places. Moving to an area with a lower cost of living can help you save on regular expenses like your housing, utilities, and taxes, especially if you downsize at the same time. And that can free up room in your budget for things that make retirement some of the best years of your life. Travel, hobbies, spoiling your grandkids, or any of the other things that you've been dreaming about doing in the next phase. That's not to say you have to move. It just means you'll want to think about where you plan to live and make sure you've got enough savings to cover actually living there. It's all about planning, as Go Banking Rates explains, quote, how much you should have saved for retirement depends on a few key factors, including your location. Where you choose to spend your golden years is critical, unquote. And you don't always have to go far. Sometimes it's out of state, but other times moving to the suburbs instead of living near the city can make a big difference, and that's worth thinking about as you plan your next chapter. Whether you're considering downsizing, moving closer to your grandkids, or heading to an area where you can stretch your savings, the real estate agent can help. They'll work with you to explore the options that make sense for your goals and can help make selling your current house easier. They can also connect you with trusted agents in other parts of the country where you're considering a big move. Bottom line, you've worked hard to build a future you can enjoy. If your current home or location no longer supports that, it may be time to explore what's next. What does your ideal retirement look like? And could a move help make it even better? Let's talk about how to make that vision a reality. Want more information? Give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As a certified liability advisor, I help you build wealth through strategic debt management, and that might even be getting you into that right size property in the right location. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Okay, so we've been think about that concept, and it is an opportunity once again for me to share with you the absolute best loan on the market, only for those that qualify for it. It is the Home Select loan from Geneva Financial. GetHomeselect.com, GetHomeselect.com. If you're thinking about that move that we just talked about, it's the only loan I know of in the marketplace where your payment and your mortgage balance both drop. That's something that's really unheard of. Your payment and your mortgage balance both drop. It's unique. It challenges the way everything you've ever heard about loans. It's just a big, very, very unique program. And I'm going to share with you, it's just math, because we haven't talked about this in a while, but I do look at it and I share it with folks when we do our private consultations. And think about this concept. It's something called the tipping point. The tipping point. That's basically when your mortgage, you're actually paying more towards your mortgage than interest. And a lot of people have no clue about this tipping point. And it's something that we just think of. It's a unique concept to the borrow smart philosophy. And I want you to understand that, because how long do you think it takes to pay off a how long do you think it's going to take you to pay off half of a 30-year mortgage? How long do you think it'll take to pay off half a 30-year mortgage? Well, it's generally, would it surprise you to know it's between 22 and 24 years paying off half of a 30-year mortgage? Most people have no clue about that portion of it, and it is the case. So be aware that if you're not understanding that, you just don't understand the amortization table, and you're not alone. Most people don't understand the amortization table. And we go through this education process to share with you. That's why the Get Home Select loan is so big, gethomeselect.com. When you think about that concept of paying that off, you have the option of getting that tipping point even sooner. Again, it's just not something that anybody talks about. So let's look at it. The $600,000 loan at 7% interest, you're paying boatloads of interest. That is $837,000 in interest. $837,000 in interest. And we did a $600,000 loan. And I'm just going through here. You're in month, let's see, 223. Month 223 when you've paid off half of it. Think about 223. That's about 18 years, 19 years, something like that. So just think about that concept. Now, when you do the Get Home Select, you're paying principal first. So the very first day you get the loan, or not the first day, but the first time you make payments, you're actually starting right then to cut that down. Now, I have shared with you as well that you have the ability, and it's all up to you. Nobody can change the process. You have the ability of adjusting that. Do you want to change the whole paradigm of your loan? Well, let's think about that. If you take that $600,000 loan, 7% interest, you've got a payment of $39.91. That's principal and interest. The taxes and insurance are going to be the same no matter what you do. But let's just say that you were to make an extra $200 a month in payments. That's going to cut off about $140,000, $138,675 in interest expense. It's going to cut off about 4.2 years in payments. And it's going to give you an effective interest rate of 5.84. So if you said, Ron, 7% interest right now, I'm moving. You go back to our prior conversation where I was just talking about downsizing or right sizing. And you say, well, I don't want to go and get a new loan at 7%. Well, use some of your equity, and you have the option of getting a 7% loan and getting an effective rate of 5.84. Maybe you want an effective rate of less than that. Use some of that equity and get an effective rate of 5.4. All of these numbers are possible when you understand how the system works. When you understand about when you decide to make that payment and what you're paying. Are you paying interest or are you paying principal? When you go and make an extra principal payment, and let's just say you said, okay, well, I took some money out of that property that I just sold, and I've got an extra $200,000. Well, you put that into a side account that's getting some good interest, safe and secure. You make your payments, and you put an extra $500 a month towards your principal. Now you've brought your effective rate down to 4.74%. You've got your term down to 21.7 years, and you've saved $270,000 in interest. Is the bank going to stop you from doing something like that? No, they don't care because it actually it's better for them. You know, Ron, why is it better for them? Well, there's more equity in the property. The more equity in the property, they know that you're not going to walk away from that loan. So it's a safer loan. If you have to default, you got a problem. Now, even better than doing something like that, the Home Select loan, gethomeselect.com, that's going to save you even more money because every time you get a salary check, a pension check, a rent check, if you have rental properties, if you have collecting Social Security, a Social Security check, you deposit all of that right into the Home Select account. It is an offset account with a sweep. It sweeps right into your loan account, pays that down. The money, it sweeps back the other way. But for the entire amount of time that it's swept into the loan account, you're not paying interest. Zero, zilch, nada on those dollars. When your interest is due on the remaining amount on the 21st of the month, it's even less. So when you put money toward your balances again next month and you leave some over, it's paying more principal, not interest. GetHomeSelect.com. You're not going to understand it in 5 minutes. I can't tell it to you and talk to you about it in a segment like this. GetHomeSelect.com. There's several videos, FAQs, all of that right there for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, worried about your investments, what smart advisors want you to know, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Borrow Smart segment today being brought to you by GetHomeSelect.com, GetHomeSelect.com. Worried about your investments, what smart advisors want you to know. Welcome to this segment of Ron Siegel Radio. I'm Ron Siegel, and today we're diving into something that's on a lot of minds right now. The markets. Stocks have tumbled, and if you've peeked at your portfolio lately, it might have raised your blood pressure. Before you hit the panic button or cash out entirely, let's talk about what smart money is doing and why staying grounded could actually help you build long-term wealth. We'll walk through what financial advisors are telling their clients right now, what to watch out for, and how you can use moments like these to make your finances stronger, not weaker. Is it time to panic? Absolutely not. Do not panic. That is the biggest mistake you could possibly make. Do not. How many times can I say, do not panic? And I know I had a buzzer on here, but I can't find it. Otherwise, I would be pushing that buzzer over and over again, that you don't want to be doing that. While headlines scream about market drops and tariffs, seasoned advisors aren't running for the hills. In fact, they expect these kinds of downturns. March brought us the steepest S&P 500 drop since December 2022. A 5.8% decline in recent political moves have only added to the market volatility. But here's the key. Professionals aren't reacting in fear. They're responding with perspective. Stick to the plan. One of the most important messages I want you to take away from today is this: a smart financial plan is built for times like these. Great advisors design portfolios around long-term goals, not daily headlines. Whether it's funding a child's education, planning a dream retirement, or managing debt wisely, these are baked into the plan from the beginning. So when the market dips, they don't make panic decisions. They make informed adjustments. If you've worked with a planner or a certified liability advisor like myself, then your strategy should already include contingencies for market conditions. Market corrections are normal. It's easy to think that this time is different, especially with current events. But historically, downturns follow a pattern, and they're often followed by recoveries, big ones. In fact, when the S&P 500 falls by 20% or more, it has historically rebounded by an average of 17.7% in the following year. That's why the pros are telling clients, let history guide you. This isn't about ignoring the numbers. It's about remembering that markets move in cycles, and that staying the course is often the most profitable move you can make. Don't go all in on cash. Now, let's talk psychology for a moment. When fear sets in, some investors want to move everything into cash. But here's the problem. You don't just miss the downside, you miss the upside too. One example that really stood out was an investor who went to cash at the bottom of the market during the pandemic. Just days later, the market jumped 15%. That decision cost them over $1 million. If you need to de-risk a portion of your portfolio, that's understandable, but don't do it out of fear. Be strategic. If you must reposition funds, consider bonds or money market accounts, not the sidelines entirely. Remember, cash might feel safe, but it doesn't grow and it gets eroded by inflation. Communication is key, but make it count. Good advisors encourage questions, especially during downturns, but they also want those questions to be specific, not what's going on, but how does this affect my strategy? If you're working with a professional, they should be proactively reaching out, sharing insights, reviewing your plan, and adjusting where necessary. If you haven't heard from your advisor, call me, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with an advisor that is advising. So yes, call your advisor, but use those conversations to sharpen your understanding and refine your strategy, not just to be reassured. What this means for homeowners and borrowers. Now you might be thinking, Ron, I'm not a stock market investor, I'm a homeowner. Well, here's where it all comes together. When the market gets rocky, your home equity can become one of your greatest tools. Strategic debt through refinancing, reverse mortgages, gethomeselect.com, or proper reborrowing structure can improve your cash flow and protect your retirement plan. As a certified liability advisor, I specialize in helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. This goal, use your home not just as a roof over your head, but as a financial engine that works in tandem with your portfolio. When inflation rises and stocks get shaky, fixed rate mortgage payments become more powerful. Your liability, the mortgage, stays the same while the value of your home and your dollar adjusts. That's the quiet advantage of smart borrowing during uncertain times. Final thought, opportunity hides in the noise. This is the first time markets have gotten messy. This isn't the first time that markets have gotten messy, and it won't be the last. But every single downturn has had one thing in common. They were also times of opportunity. The people who stayed informed, who had a plan, who worked with professionals, those are the people who came out ahead, and you can too. If you're feeling uneasy, let's talk. I am a certified liability advisor, CLA, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Whether you want to buy, refinance, or better understand how your mortgage fits into your bigger picture, this is your time to act smart, not scared. Until next time, I'm Ron Siegel. Stay calm, stay strategic, and remember, your future is built by the choices you make today. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. So let's just have a little bit of a chat today, can we? Right? You've got a bunch of home equity. The value of real estate has gone up dramatically in the last several years. It's still going up, maybe not quite as much as it was going up, but it's still going up. If you want to know how much your home is worth, we've got tools for you that'll help you with that. rsrlinks.com/homewealth, rsrlinks.com/homewealth. No spaces. It'll give you an idea of what your home value is. Now, we talk to you all the time about being ready strategically. Be ready strategically. The market's down. It doesn't matter if you're not selling. It's actually good if you're buying. So if you're a senior, you should have strategic debt available to you. Use your home equity to live off of, and don't take anything out of your accounts more than you have to. I know you've got RMDs that you have to deal with, the mandatory distributions. I understand that. So take the minimum amount. Maybe that's not enough for you to live off of. No worries, because you're going to live off the equity in your real estate. That way, when the market goes back up, which it historically always does or has in the past, I can't predict the future. I can't guarantee the future. But then you take the distributions that you were planning anyway, you live off of what you need to, and you pay down your mortgage where you need to. Now, how do you draw it and pull it back? Well, you have to be strategic. That Home Select product, put money in, take money out. It's always going up and down. They don't care. They've never had a default in the history of the product. GetHomeselect.com, GetHomeselect.com. Again, I can't explain it to you in about 2 minutes that we have left in today's broadcast, but there's about 30, 40 minutes worth of video if you go to gethomeselect.com. There's frequently asked questions there. You can always book a consultation with me. It'll take about 20 minutes for me to explain it to you, and it'll challenge everything you've ever thought you knew about mortgages, because you think, as do 99.9% of the people, that if you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, that's the biggest loan on the market. Hey, my mortgage is going to balance, my payment's going to stay the same, my interest is going to stay the same. The interest rate drives the payment, and on that product it does. But if you use a better product, it doesn't. GetHomeselect.com. Your payment goes down. Your effective interest rate, your interest expense, they're dropping. Your net worth, it's increasing because you're not sending so much money to the bank. GetHomeselect.com. It is a great tool for times like this in the market. And again, if you want to know what your house is worth, rsrlinks.com/homewealth. rsrlinks.com/homewealth. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.